Welcome to another episode of Big Bear Theory. My name is Parker. This is Tanner. And we have a new series going on. We'll talk about in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and get on to the new things that are going because we are constantly updating a bunch of stuff, trying to get more engaged with you guys. And we want to make sure that you guys are thriving on every single platform possible. So, first one being, so we're now on iHeartRadio. Finally figured that one out. It was a little tricky, but if you like iHeartRadio as your main feed, it is now on there. And same for Apple Podcasts. So if you like either one of those, we are now on there and publish weekly, every day, 5 a.m. on, or not every day, excuse me, every Monday, 5 a.m. for the early birds out there. Two, and a much more exciting news because it has taken us quite a while to do so, is we are officially on YouTube. And so it is the same as everything else, Big Bear Theory podcast. Try to keep it as uniform as humanly possible. And that is the big thing that we are trying to hit. Okay, so YouTube is our niche that we're going for because we are doing videos so you can see us and you can see us interact and engage and all of these great things. So YouTube has been something we've been really, really looking forward to and hit it. So playlists will be added as we make more playlists. We will add them onto YouTube and you can search for all, or you can search per playlist that you like, which is a great transition into our newest playlist of the time, which is top 10s. So Tanner came up with this idea, great idea to kind of get to see who we are, what we think is our top 10 of whatever. So we can do top 10 foods, top 10 movies, top 10 favorite vacations, whatever. We're going to do top 10s of all sorts of things and probably some weird things like maybe top 10 mouse and keyboards. I don't know. But whatever we'll do top 10s of. And this one, we're going to do top 10 video games because we're nerds and we love video games. And I don't know about you, but when I was making this list, one, I feel old because all of my games are old. I don't think there's one one on here that's like before or after 2015. So
jeez.
I did some old school
your list
ones.
is a little older than mine, yeah.
I went super old, and my first one's gonna start off like it's gonna set the bar on the old. Yeah, it's great. Nice. So, but yeah, we'll talk about our top 10s, why we picked them, and how do I know, Tanner? What do you want to do? Do you want to go like my top 10, your top 10, like number 10, and then you give number 10, and I do 9, you do 9?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's do. I like 10 to 1. Yeah.
Okay,
like going
10 to 1,
going bottom to top.
Cool. And then I'll do my number 10, and you'll do your number 10, my number 9, your number 9. Beautiful. Okay, so that's how it's gonna go. You want me to kick it off, or you kick it off?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna kick it off. You ready?
Yeah,
so,
I'm ready.
Number 10. This was on the Sega. So like the very first video console out there, I think. I'm not sure.
You don't know what it is, look it up.
I'm pretty sure it's the very first one. It's one of those where you had the cartridge, put it in. If it didn't work, you had to pull it out, blow a cartridge, put it back in.
Yeah.
It was so it was a Sega, and my favorite game on there was Sonic the Hedgehog. And
not like the original? Was it the original one?
I'm pretty sure it was the original one.
Yeah.
I basically played 3 games on the Sega. I don't even remember the third, to be honest, but I know it's 3 different games. I know I didn't like the third one, so I don't remember it. But Sonic was my favorite, and then it was a basketball game. And I played basketball, but that game was like super hard. Sonic was at least achievable.
Was the basketball game NBA Jam?
No,
like with the big heads?
Maybe. Let's see. Sega basketball. Let's take a little deeper.
Like Bird.
I know there was been NBA Jam. Magic,
and there's like I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a Michael Jordan game too.
I want to see if I can probably Sega Genesis. Yeah, that's what it was. I don't know, but I remember it was fun. I was always the Bulls because Michael Jordan.
Because they were OP, and you couldn't lose.
And they were OP. And then if I wasn't the Bulls, actually, you know what? Believe it or not, if I wasn't the Bulls, you know who I was, and I lived in like Tennessee and Tennessee, Connecticut around this time when I played. I picked the Mavs.
Hey, let's go,
So,
man.
all right, I guess I just knew at some point I was going to be, or at least a blue and white team that I'm pretty sure was the Mavs. Again, I played this game when I
Yeah.
was like 5 or 6 years old. So memory is a little bit lacking. I probably was
Yeah.
this video game went, but yeah. So that was my first video game I ever played. But I love Sonic the Hedgehog one just a little bit more. Like I said, it's a little bit easier. I wasn't the most skilled gamer in the world at 6 years old, and
Yeah.
it just had like a good rhythm to it. But it was basically, you try to jump at the right time, try to hit all these slots, and basically get fastest
That
time, kind of like Mario, but like a much more basic version of it. But that's my number 10.
man, Sonic is classic.
It's good.
That's a
Now they're
good way
making
to start
movies
the
of it
list.
too. There's like the red
Yeah.
Sonic character. I think his name's like Knuckles or
Knuckles?
whatever. They're
Yeah.
making a movie on that. I saw that on the Super Bowl
Man,
commercial.
did you ever play the Shadow game? Shadow the Hedgehog?
Mm-mm.
I think it was on PS3 or something. I have a very vivid memory of that because I had to ask my mom to be able to play the game because it was rated teen,
Oh
and
geez.
I was like 9. But the only like he just said like one cuss word in the whole playthrough, but that made it teen. So I had to ask my mom, and I'm pretty
Wow.
sure for like a year she was like, "No."
No.
Yeah,
That's
and that was one of the first. That was one of the first games with like guns.
I got a lot
Yeah,
of those coming up.
yeah, me, me too, me
just
too.
just wait.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Well, for my 10, I'm kind of matching you with like classics. I'm going Super Mario 64.
Heck
Um,
yeah, brother.
on the Nintendo 64.
Also
Um.
cartridge based gaming.
Yep. So, yep, definitely had a lot of times of having to blow in in the cartridge if it wasn't working. People now, I mean, nowadays, man, it's like they don't even like GameStop's about to go out of business. They don't even
Dude, yeah.
sell like discs anymore, you know?
The power of
But
PC is coming strong, or really just internet, I guess, because I mean all the games on PlayStation now, Xbox, you can just download now.
yeah. Yeah,
That's
but
crazy.
Super Mario 64, man, that was like one of my first, I think it was definitely my first open world experience playing video games. And like,
Mhm.
man, I fell in love. I had played some of the other Super Mario's, like just like Super Mario Bros. 3 and
Yeah.
2 and 1, and that was very much just. I mean, that was before they even explored the idea of being able to walk 3 dimensionally in a Mario game.
Yeah.
You know, like it was like the Sonic games too. I mean, like
Yeah,
Sonic
you
used to be
just
just
going
purely
sideways.
2D. Yeah, you go left to right and it's just a scroller. But man, this Super Mario game, it's even interesting now because you can go and like people still play this game, and like I know it's like a huge game for like speedrunners, and
Mhm.
like you can go see people beat levels in like less than a minute. And it's
That's so
like,
crazy, dude.
yeah, and it's like it's so cool because it's like it was back when they didn't know exactly how to make an open world game, so they didn't know all the limitations they had to put on it.
Yeah.
So
Dude,
you
what the
see like countless like exploits of it, like like
that's
cheating the
funny.
system. Like that's how the speedrunners do it. Like,
Yeah.
but man, it's so good. I played it on that, and then I know they came out with it on DS. I had it on my DS too.
Dang, I
Um,
don't think I ever had a DS.
classic game,
I had the
classic
Game Boy
console.
Advance.
Oh yeah, Game Boy
I
Color probably.
I had the Game Boy Color Advance, and I think that was really after that. I don't think I upgraded anything past that because I at one point I did have the PlayStation handheld thing. I totally forget what it's called.
PSP. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
PSP. Yeah, I had that, and
Yeah.
that thing was legit, but I just never really capitalized on that. So it kind of as soon as I got it, it died pretty quickly on my realm. All right.
Yeah, I remember before we leave off, I remember Super
Mhm.
Mario 64, the final boss with Bowser was like super hard. It was like my first time playing a game and not being able to beat it like
Dang.
immediately, you know? Like it was like I had a lot of like that was my first game with trial and error in a video
Oh
game.
yeah.
And like being exploited to like losing.
You know what's
Like
crazy? I watch a couple streamers, right? And it's crazy how they analyze, because they're playing like, I watched them play Star Wars,
Hmm.
that one like Jedi with the guy. It's like has nothing to do
Fallen
really with the plot of
Order.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fallen Order. There you go. Thank you. And like they will go to these bosses and they're already analyzing, okay, I have to time it like this. And I never really thought of that when I played these games. I just tried to just do whatever. But
Yeah, go
hearing
in and
them
hit.
actually
Yeah.
strategize and be like, okay, I have to double jump at this point and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
crazy. So it's like I want to go back and like think of it that way, but to me, it's way more fun if I just kind of like try to attack whenever I want to attack
Yeah.
and get over
Yeah,
it.
no, I'm very much just put me in front and then I'll do it, you know. I don't want to get all the
Exactly.
side quests and everything. I want to beat the game first.
And that's why I have my number 4. That one's gonna carry real good into that one. But I'll backtrack. So number 9, again, going old school. And the reason I put this one on there was because back in my day, those good old days, phones had buttons, and this was the best game to play. It was like one of the first few games you could get on your phone, and it was the best when you had buttons. Like they still have it, but it's not as fun on iPhones and Androids and things. But when you had buttons, this game was legit, and you could always outdo yourself. And so this game was Tetris.
Nice. I thought
So
you were gonna say
Tetris.
Snake.
Snake, yeah, a lot of people. I figured a lot of people would probably say Snake, but to me, Snake was overly simple.
Yeah.
Not that it's not easy, because it definitely gets really really hard, and there's a lot of strategy to it. But I just never, hit the arrow up and then hit to the left, and then I got. But Tetris was fun because it had just enough shapes, and you could really start getting strategies going. And I think
Think
the
on your
highest level I
feet.
got to, yeah, you could always get to like a higher level, and I thought that was a lot of fun. And I think the highest I could get to was like level 10, but pretty consistently level 10. And it was satisfying when you got the 4 row clear out, right?
Yeah,
That
just
was the
yeah, all
ooh.
blows up. Yeah.
And so that was my favorite. I think it was the first phone game. You kind of I have like I put like a theme to it. I picked like 2 like old school, 2 phone games. I kind of try to do it like that way. So that's my, because I ended up having like 15, so I got some honorable mentions as well that I'll throw on
I'll give
there.
me
But
too.
Tetris, a solid number 9, kind of the childhood game when literally games just got on your phone, and it
Yeah.
was an actual colored screen. Like the first one I ever had was a colored screen, but it was literally blue, like a light blue, and then white. That was
What was
there
it?
wasn't
What was your
actual
phone called?
colors.
Do you remember what
Hmm?
your phone was called?
I know it's a Nokia, and it was not
Dang.
even a flip phone. It was a just,
Straight up, yeah.
yeah, straight up phone. Had
Yeah.
soft keypad buttons, and that phone did not. I think it did actually. I think that phone actually had Snake on it, but it didn't have anything else. And then what I played Tetris on was, it wasn't on the Razor, but I think it was kind of when the Razors came out. Those those phones. So basically, when the flip phone came out, is when I started playing Tetris on the phone. But
Nice.
nothing special. There wasn't like a cool memory. I just remember playing it all the time as a kid, and then I think it's worked really well for my quote unquote dad skills. I'm not a dad, although I am a dad to 3 lovely 4-legged children. But
Yeah. His
when I pack
dogs.
the car,
Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
my
yeah.
dogs, yeah. When I pack the car, I feel like I can pack the car very, very well and very efficiently.
Yeah, and it's your history with Tetris.
Exactly. So
100%.
it's raised my, and what's crazy is I don't even think, and maybe it was just Gracie, but Gracie didn't even know what Tetris was. Never heard of Tetris. So
She
we'll see how many
lived under a
people
rock, so
actually know Tetris and what it sounds like. So I'm really curious to see in the comments if people are like, well, I mean, I know they didn't hear Sonic. There's no way they know Sonic, but
yeah. Well, they
Tetris,
know
like, there's
Sonic.
50-50.
They know
Yeah.
Sonic. They don't know the game. Yeah,
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 they don't
yeah.
know Sega.
Yeah,
They don't know what the
yeah,
Sega Genesis is. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up. It's called a Sega Genesis. It's black.
yeah. Yep. That's a good yeah, that's good, man. That's a simple but like nostalgic game.
Yep.
Um for my number 9, I'm going a little bit more complicated or yeah, I think that's the word for it, but I'm going Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Dang.
So
What a
I've always been a huge fan of like the From Software games, which is like Dark Souls, and I actually have a few more like on this list. Like I love those like cutthroat style games that like it
dang, that's
sounds
wild.
dumb, but like where you're losing like constantly, and then
Yeah,
finally when you win, when you finally beat that boss, it's like a huge relief, and it's like you feel like I don't know, like it's like a huge accomplishment to you. But man, Elden Ring is like hands down, it's one of the more beautiful like artistic games I've ever played.
dang,
It's cool because you can play with your friends. You can play co-op, which you can't do in any
that is
other.
super nice.
Yeah, like I think you can in like Dark Souls 3, but it's like severely limited. Like in this one, you can literally just load into somebody's world and just kind of run with them.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, so it's super cool. I had a lot of memories that I'll always have playing with my friends on that game and trying to beat some of the bigger bosses. If you're at home right now and you don't know what Elden Ring is, just look up Elden Ring Fire Giant.
Fairly
Just look
new,
that.
right? Yeah,
It is fairly new. It
2 years
won
old.
Game of the Year in the year that it was
Right,
out. I think it was it 22. I think or I
22.
think it's
Yep.
20. Yeah, but man, amazing, amazing game. It took me a long time. I wish that I loaded up my Xbox to see how many hours I put on that game, because I got to the final boss and I still have yet to go back and beat it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't there? There's, it's like made people cry. Like one of these
Oh, dude,
bosses.
it is insanely difficult,
It's
but
so wild.
it's super cool because it's like you build your own character. There's no hand holding in the character building. So you can choose exactly what your character's good at, what like weapons you use, if you're like a mage and if you can like use magic, like that's super OP and broken. So
Yeah,
for people
and they
who
go
like
for
really
comments on
really
that.
struggled, like okay, when I played I had two katanas. Okay, super cool. That's just like the most badass like thing I
I
could think
agree.
of.
I could
Right?
do
It was
that.
just
Yeah.
really cool. I just wanted to be a samurai, you know, so, with
Awesome.
two, you know.
Yeah, always
So
do.
yeah, and I wanted to do that, but by far and away the easiest way that you can play it is as a mage because you can shoot from a distance. You know,
Yeah.
like you can be far away from them. And the one thing about that game is like almost every enemy that you come across can one shot you,
Dang, dude.
like at any point in the game, and it probably takes you 50 hits on the person to kill them.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and they
terrible.
won't. Not every hit that they hit you isn't going to be a one hit, but it's like that one move that
There's
you
a
get stuck
potential.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it's just over. But man,
Woo.
so pretty, man. It's like it's genuinely one of the more impressive like games. It's definitely probably the most impressive game on my list for sure.
Good.
Like graphics, everything, man. It's
Yeah, I
awesome.
heard it was. I heard it was super super cool. And
But
I've
not
never
for the
played
faint of
those
heart.
games, but I do have ish games, and that are similar to that, I guess.
Hmm.
All right, so we on to
Number
number
8,
8.
you'll like
My
mine.
number 8 was Super Mario. Super Mario on the Game Boy. So that was my favorite one. And so going on to Game Boy Life, uh, it's funny. I think I'm like actually progressing through time as I kind of look at my list. For the most part, it's actually pretty much in line with the time. Um, but I was playing Super Mario, and this game I always loved because I had I went to this daycare, and I think it was when I lived in Connecticut. Again, really, really young. Nothing huge here. It was like again 6, 7 at this point, and I had this daycare counselor guy
Hmm.
who I feel like was like pretty young. I mean, obviously, like everyone when you're 6 years old, like looks like they're 30 or 40 years old, but I feel like he was actually probably in his like mid 20s. And there's two things I loved about him. One is he would play the levels that we couldn't figure out. So anything that was hard, he'd be like, "Oh, I got you." And so
Yeah,
this guy got paid like who knows, like Probably not good money, but good, good money to play video games for kids that, didn't want to play. And he would, man, he could do some crazy things. And never used him until basically like almost like the final level. And then once I got the final level, it was like one where you had to, if you didn't do it in right order, it would send you back. And I just couldn't
Mm.
figure it out. And so I had him figure it out, and he was struggling to figure it out, right? And so I remember it's like a whole like 4 or 5 of us just around him watching him play on this Nintendo, on this Game Boy.
Like giving him pointers, yeah.
Yeah, and we're like, go, go, go. And then he finally gets it and he gets to the boss. And like we felt like he just earned like keep playing with the boss. Cause usually he would let us get to the boss and then we'd play the boss. But he was going at it, and like Bowser's throwing like thousands of hammers. I mean, when you're talking about the epicness of gaming, and if he could have streamed that, I mean, it would have gone viral because he's just dodging all these hammers, landing on him, doing everything he needs to do.
Yeah.
It was so cool, and he finally beat it. It took like probably an hour and a half. I remember it taking a long time. He died a couple times, but finally gets it. We're all cheering, and it was like that was the final level of all, before you went into the stars. So Super Mario, it was like
Yeah.
dots, and then it had star level. So you do all the levels again at a star level, which was, I guess, just more advanced. But that was my favorite, and I also liked the guy because he liked pulling teeth. It was like this weird thing. So we're always losing our teeth at that point, and so he would always this guy pulled out like 4 of my teeth at this
Oh
time.
my god.
So yeah,
Wow.
they would say, "Hey, tooth's loose," and he's like, "I got this," and pop
Yeah.
those suckers out. And so yeah, he made me a lot of money from the Tooth Fairy.
Jeez.
So,
So, yep, a lot of teeth pulling, a lot of Mario playing.
yeah, very weird
Yes.
combo there, I guess. Now that I think about it, but that's my memory, and it's number 8 on the list, so he can get over that one.
Nice. That's good. Yeah, I think that you'll like this one a lot. Number 8 for me is Call of Duty, but more specifically is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. That is that's
Hey,
my favorite.
this is a good
And
good one.
that's me personally because I'm a big zombies guy. I love Call of Duty Zombies. I know you don't really like Call of Duty Zombies, or not. It's not your favorite. You're more of a multiplayer guy.
Yeah, I just like the multiplayer, or now in Warzone level, going up into that life. But yeah, I grew up more multiplayer. It's because the zombies were scary when I started playing, because it was World War II, those zombies,
Yeah,
and they started
yeah.
making all the noises, and yeah, freaks me out, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, and there are like times, especially when you get later in the rounds, when there's so many,
Hmm.
like you're just surrounded by like 100, you get put into a corner. It's definitely not the
Yeah.
best feeling in the world. But man, Black Ops 2, and also the multiplayer was fun. Um, but like the zombies maps, man, I think they had Buried. Buried was on there with Leroy, and you had to give him the. I don't know if you remember this. I don't even know if you played it, but you had to give him the booze to like make him run and like hammer his head into like a debris that you had to clear. It's just
No.
so yeah, so like unique.
Actually
All
brought
the
story to it
yeah,
ish. Yeah, like it was like its
yeah,
own
it
thing
gives you
at that
context
point.
into Leroy. Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah, and
Oh,
then they
is it
had
based off like Leroy Jenkins?
I think that's like kind of who they're going based off, but it's if you've seen it, man, he's like 6'5", 6'7", huge dude, like
Yeah.
just like he only has overalls on. He doesn't have a shirt, just overalls, just jean overalls. Um, but man, yeah. And then at the end of that, to get to Pack-a-Punch, you got to go through the mansion with all the witches.
Mm,
And they take like you can go like Pack-a-Punch costs 5 grand, 5,000 points, and
mm.
it's like you want to go into that mansion with like 20 grand because every time they hit you, they take 2. And there's like 15 of them going through there. So
Jeez.
like you walk in there with 20 grand, like, oh, this is easy. But then you get out of the mansion with 0 and you're like, what happened? Yeah, but very,
Screwed.
very good game, nostalgic. That was also the first time that they started putting in the like Easter eggs. Like you could actually like
Oh yeah.
beat the zombies game, like beat the zombies map, which I always thought was really interesting. It's cool.
I do like when there is like a beat to it now. I kind of like I don't even know if they're still doing it because I haven't watched it. I literally just watch all games now because I can't play. Because my life is terribly busy, unfortunately, and it's really sad. And I don't want to talk about it. But I kind of like that open world that they're doing right now, like the I don't know, half
Yeah,
DMZ, half Warzone. I think it's a cool concept. So, but
that's
I
pretty
know
cool.
there's no, at least in the first season, there wasn't really like a story. Like once you did everything, you're
Yeah,
kind of
you're kind of
done.
done
Um,
unless you're
I,
grinding like camos. You know.
yeah, and that's like, that to me, I guess more like a multiplayer aspect. So I like that they do the stories and things like that. Like there's almost like an actual campaign almost
Yeah.
um bonus content. So I have respect for it. It's just yeah, it freaks me out. I don't know. And I think it's because zombies actually freak me out. Like that's like the one thing I don't want to happen is zombies. Because
Like an
it's
apocalypse.
gross. Like it's that that's what it is. Like zombies to me are just really gross. And they're gonna slobber on you if they bite you. Like I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean they're not the cleanest people. You
I
know.
just think in like apocalypse terms, like I don't want it to be. I'd rather do aliens, I think, than
You say
zombies.
that. You say that until you see an alien with like 30 legs,
Yeah, that's true.
like
But I don't
40
know. It's like
eyes.
Alien versus Predator. Like that was cool. I could go against that. I don't think I'd win, but I could go against that. And then
You could use
what's
jujitsu.
the one? Is it that's in L.A.? It's like a super famous movie.
Like
Oh
War of the Worlds,
no,
World War Z.
no, no.
Who's
Oh
in it?
man,
Like Brad Pitt.
no. It's like it's not a zombie movie. It's an alien movie. Like they fight against aliens.
Oh,
L.A.
oh,
Alien movie. Battle Los Angeles. There we go. I knew it was super famous. Then you had to look it up all the way. Yeah, Battle Los Angeles. I could do that. That would be fine.
maybe.
It's just zombies. Can't do zombies because there's also so many. I mean, I don't know. There's so many aliens too. I don't know. There's something about zombies and the quantity and the how they kill you. That's just terrible. And
Oh,
or turn
it's
you
just
into a zombie, right?
yeah,
So just keep it simple. Like I'm dead, but I'm not dead. That's terrible. That's a terrible way to go about it. And I always
yeah,
wondered, like, do they know? Like, is there like some realm where they actually know they're a zombie?
yeah. Do they have
Because
some
they can
kind of
still do
self?
basic things.
Yeah,
I don't know. This
it's
is tangent,
interesting.
but zombies
That's
freak
a
me out.
podcast for another day, man. Are
It is.
zombies
Yeah, we'll
real?
talk about actually I think irrational fears would be a great podcast because I have a crazy irrational fear.
Oh, top
I mean,
10
that's like one of
irrational
them.
fears. Yeah,
I don't know if I can do top 10 because I don't really try not to live
yeah. I
too
don't know.
much
I
in
don't
fear.
a
I have
lot of
like top
fears. Yeah.
three. There's
Okay.
probably three like super rational ones, but top one that I already know is number one is it's pretty stupid. There's no point for it. All right, we'll go back on track. I apologize. And actually, this kind of goes into the zombie. It's not really the zombie realm. You'll kind of understand what I'm talking about in a second. But my number 7 is Halo 3.
Oh yeah.
Halo
Heck yeah,
3
man.
in particular. I love Halo 1. I love Halo 2. It was actually really hard to pick between Halo 2 and 3 because Halo 2, the pistol was beyond OP.
Yeah.
And I like a lot more of the campaign. The reason why I put Halo 3 though was one, I couldn't get the Halo games. I don't think my parents would really let me or just didn't buy it. I don't remember. But I remember when we got Halo 3, I say we is my cousin. I went to my cousin's house all the time and he had all
That's
the
how it
Halo games.
always is,
Yeah,
dude.
he got me in
That's
the
how it
Halo.
always is. Yeah.
And so the reason why I didn't pick Halo 2, while I like the maps and the campaign a little bit better, was because you had to share the controller, right? Every time you lost, you pass on a controller. And my
Hmm.
cousin was just better at me. So I would get the controller for like 5-10 minutes before I died. He could hold on to it for almost an hour before he died. And that usually meant that it put me at the harder level and would die even sooner.
Yeah.
And so it's just
And
a
he'd be
little
like,
bit.
"Give it back." Yeah.
Yeah. And I was an only
Yeah.
child. My cousin was basically the closest thing I had to a brother. And so I was a brat. And I didn't want to share. I wanted to play the whole game and I wanted him to watch. And I was older and I felt like I could do that, but I could not. So when Halo 3 came out, it was also when Xbox One, 360, I don't know, the
Probably
upgraded
360.
Xbox. And it was
Yeah.
the first like massive upgrade in visuals. And you could
Yeah. Probably
see,
360. That sounds like
I
360.
feel like it
Yeah.
was a 360. And but the man, we were like, you can see the scratches on his armor. It was like that detailed. And so we were watching it. So I love the upgrade and visuals. It was super cool. I mean, we kept like, oh, look at the elites, look at
Yeah,
the
the
plasma
elite.
grenades were one of
Yeah.
my favorites, you know, just like look at everything. So the appeal was super cool.
What was the sword
Visually,
called? Was it just a
the
plasma sword?
plasma sword, I think is what it was called. Yeah.
Dude, that
That
was
thing looked
whenever you
even
would get
sick.
that, man, you felt like you were on top of the
Oh
world.
yeah, you were rampaging through the whole scene.
Yeah.
I even when the sword died and it was just basically like brass knuckles, like I was a bunch of people, man, just
Yeah,
popping them,
yeah.
just popping 'em. I didn't care if it died.
No, that's funny.
But part two that we made a favorite game was a co-op because you could play the whole campaign as a co-op. So one of you would
Mhm.
be Master Chief, and the other one would be, I think, that Sergeant. Or I think in the end you end up becoming the elite, the good elite that ends up helping.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really cool too. So that Halo 1, 2, and 3, all really all the Halo series I thought were absolutely great. I think the stories are phenomenal. Halo 3 just kind of won for me the most of the charts because of the co-op and that visual,
Yeah.
man. Like, woo, we were like just in awe at that one for sure.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad you included Halo because when I made my list, I completely forgot.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
completely forgot to put Halo on here. But
top
yeah, man,
tier.
that's Halo 3 was fun. I remember playing that. And I kind of had a similar experience, like going over to a friend's house that was allowed to have it, but I wasn't
Yep.
allowed to have it. And
Yep.
I wouldn't tell my mom. I would like play it and go home. She'd be like, "What'd you guys do?" Be like, "I play basketball, you know." Play
That's
football all
funny. I
day.
think my mom knew she just wasn't going to support
Yeah.
her house, you know, like she just kind of like let it be, but like, which I think is fair, I would say.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Man, it's funny. Number 7 for me. This is a switch up, man. I'm going Pokemon. And more
Yes.
specifically, I'm going Pokemon Red because Pokemon Red
Hey.
was the first one I played, and that's probably my favorite. Any Gen 1 Pokemon, you show them to me, I can probably tell you their name.
The
I got
best.
it's a steel trap in here with Generation 1 Pokemons.
There was 100, it was
But
152 or
yeah,
154
or,
Pokemon.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's 150 something, and then I think Gen 2 goes up to like 175 maybe.
Yeah.
I could probably get a good amount of Gen 2 too. But man, Pokemon Red, I mean, that was like well,
151. I knew it was a unique number.
151.
151 and red.
I think like some of my favorite are like Alakazam, the dude with the two spoons.
Dude, Alakazam was so beast
Yeah,
mode. I
Gengar.
loved Alakazam.
Gengar was sick.
Gengar, super sick.
Yeah.
I'm a big
Let's
Charizard
see.
fan. Not sure
Yeah,
if you are.
Charizard. Yeah, Rapidash, dude.
Rapidash. He was neat. I loved Raichu actually. I didn't
Raichu.
really
Yeah,
care for Pikachu. I felt, but it was funny. I remember I felt bad for liking Raichu more because he's like kind of the bad guy in the animated series. And Pikachu
hmm
obviously lives on forever. He's like 1,200 years old. But I,
yeah.
I did.
Pikachu's basically Yoda.
I always liked Raichu a little bit more, man. I thought he was so cool.
Yeah, dude.
I
It's
think, and then
it's great,
Dragonite.
man.
Dragonite was my favorite
Ooh,
dragon.
yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
Dragonite. Let's see. I think like also it's just like Pokemon. I wanted to put like I put Pokemon Red on here just because that was the first one I played, but like Pokemon Go, man, before I worked here,
Oh no, I didn't do
dude, I
that.
was working at Palio's Pizza and I was delivering pizzas all day and I was playing Pokemon Go all day. Like
Jeez, dude.
I was a literal trainer, dude. Like I thought that I was like the second coming of Ash Ketchum, you know?
Oh my gosh. I think what's crazy about Pokemon Go, and I'm not laughing on it, it's just really is crazy that people literally died because they would see the
Yeah.
Pokemon and like just forget about, oh, I'm crossing
The
street to
world.
get this thing.
Yeah.
And like the
Yeah.
amount of people that like died getting hit by cars is
Yeah.
insane.
No, play
Uh,
responsibly. Play responsibly,
yes,
guys.
yeah. Look up, bro. Like it's not hard, man. Like just look.
Yeah.
But yeah, that to me was super wild. Uh, but I think it was a really really cool concept. I never did play it because it just became one of those trendy things, and I don't know what it is about me, but I prefer to rebel as much as humanly possible. And so I didn't play it because that was my rebellion.
That's funny.
But
That's
Pokemon
awesome.
Red, I absolutely respect for sure. I think that's a a great game. And yeah, knowing all 151, I never could. Was Mew ever on? Mewtwo was. You could get him at the end, but I couldn't remember
Yeah,
if you could get
Mewtwo was
Mew.
on original Pokemon Red, but I think Mew was like a later addition into
Okay.
like later Pokemons, I think. But Mewtwo, you got him in a you went to like a cave,
Yeah, it'd be
um,
dark.
and you just like find him. Like he's not like an encounter. He's just like waiting there.
Mhm.
And you like fight him. Dude, and that battle is super hard
Yeah,
because
it's super
I
fun.
think the only thing that's strong against Psychic is fighting,
Mhm.
or I think so. And then, but Psychic is strong against fighting. So I'd walk in there with like Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, like all these other fighting type Pokemons.
Yeah.
And it would be like, I would land one hit, it'd be like 10% health. And then it would be like one shot, dead. Then I gotta go up to the person. And it's like, okay, 10%. Okay, dead. Yeah.
That's funny.
But
Yeah, he
very, a
was.
lot
I
of
did
nostalgia there.
remember. I actually really enjoy. I love that, and the Elite Four was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Love doing those. All right,
Heck yeah, man.
my number 6. Now we're going a little different, right? I feel like I've kind of hit kind of the same thing. We're gonna go fully different. Getting into sports,
Ooh.
and my favorite sports game was Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2005 in specific. And the
Nice.
reason why was, one, all these games are great, but I felt like this was at its prime because they learned how to do the controls really, really well. And you could customize your character, build your character out, which I think you could do in other ones, but it was just everything was perfected in
Yeah.
2005. And this was a game that me and my parents would play almost like nightly, but especially on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'd play this game at night for like 2 or 3 rounds, and we would get so good at these games. Like we were on average, our scores would be, all of us at the end would be somewhere between 52 and 55.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
just,
Like
I mean, we could
12
mark
under?
almost like how to get hole in ones. We could knock double eagles. There was
That's
like a
funny.
power boost. That was my favorite. I think it was like L1. If you could tap it, like it swing like straight, you could go like hit like 370-yard drives.
That's
And so
great.
we'd always compete on all these levels. And it was so good because it really was competitive. Like if you missed that like 1 inch, like they made
Yeah.
that 1 inch. Like we were black belts at this game. And it was so fun. And I always had, my parents would always make characters that looked relatively like themselves. And I would always do something crazy. I had like the
Yeah,
craziest
some
pants
goofy.
on. At one point I had an afro. Um, I think, I don't know if I could give him tats, but I think he had tats or like a crazy shirt. Like it looked, never ever looked anything like me.
Yeah.
Um, but man, I was like childhood, like growing up, and like that was the family time. Like everyone has like their family time stories, and my family time was literally
PGA.
playing this
Yeah.
Tiger Woods PGA Tour 2005, and it was just such a good game. And it really, there was nothing. I think we played like the next game after that, and we just kept going back to this game because they had customized courses, like hard, crazy
Yeah.
courses. It just, that was the
They
peak.
just perfected it.
That was the
Yeah.
peak, and it's hard to beat after that. So all time favorite, big family bonding time. It was a
Heck
good
yeah,
one.
man. That's awesome. Um, cool. I did number 6, I did Super Mario Odyssey. This is
I haven't even
a
heard of that
new
one.
yeah, it's a new and improved, basically new and improved Super Mario 64. Like, it's on the
Okay.
Switch. It came out like maybe 3-4 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. It's gonna make me feel old if you tell me the release date. I think it's like, it might be like
Mm,
2017, honestly.
It would help
But
if I could spell Odyssey correct. I'm not even gonna tell you how I try to spell it. We're not. We're gonna.
ODI.
It was like because I use Audacity to kind of help with these
Oh,
podcasts. So,
ODA.
so
Yeah.
I spelled AUDIC.
Oh,
Yeah. But
Odyssey.
I'm gonna
Nice.
blame the fact that I use Audacity to help
Yeah.
with the podcast, and we'll leave it at that. 2017, that's not bad.
Yeah. But very fun game, dude. You can like there's like many ways that you can get to every level that you need to get to.
Mhm.
Like basically you can parkour your way through the entire map. There's like very limited hand holding. You can basically choose what you do. Um Very cool.
Nice.
It is literally just a much improved version of the Super Mario 64, um, but much easier. This game was much easier. It wasn't very difficult at all. I like I think I beat the final boss on like the first try, which is
Oh
like
wow.
Super Mario 64. You couldn't even like fathom doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, but very good game. If you have a Switch out there and you need a game and you haven't played this, play this.
Cool. Oh, it's on Switch. I have a Switch. I could probably play it
Mhm.
too. Jason and I usually play Mario Kart and
Heck yeah.
what's the other one where you can play like the Wii Resort?
Oh, like Wii Golf or Wii
Yeah,
Sports.
we go off Wii Sport.
I
Yeah,
think
Wii
it's just Wii.
Sports.
I think it's just Wii Resort, yeah, or Switch
Yeah,
Sports now.
we play that one. I don't. I kind of like the, and I didn't put it on my list, but that Wii Sports, the original Wii Sports, was a lot of fun. I just felt like
Oh
the,
yeah,
and I know it just didn't read it well, but like, man, I could bowling on Wii Sports, the original, and tennis on Wii Sports, the original was to me
bomb.
better. Now it's like, man, it's really sensitive
Yeah,
and it's kind of annoying, but it's not on my list, so it don't matter. All right, top five. You ready for this one? Because we
hmm
have at least one similarity going on. My top five, my number five, was Black Ops 2.
nice. Okay,
So yeah, Black Ops 2 was my favorite too. And the reason was one, I thought like the multiplayer was really good. There was a perk called Commando, so you could knife people from
hmm a million miles
20 feet
away.
away. Yeah, 20 feet away. And this was nice because, again, I wasn't really good at these games when I started playing them. And it took me a long time to even get remotely good. And then when I put on Commando and I would just kind of panic, push the button, it would kill
You
them.
could compete.
So I could actually get close to a like a 1 KD and be
Yeah.
fine. And I was like, heck yeah, man. So I go Commando and it really helped me kind of get movement down. And I think that actually improved my gameplay overall. And and then it was the first time I ever played hardcore mode too. And the pistols, the TAC 45 in particular, was like my favorite pistol. That thing just,
Yeah.
man, line it up, shoot, fire, done. It was such a fun one. And so I used that for like a really long time. Got it gold. It's like first time I got like a weapon gold. And then the 5.7, that thing started popping off because it was
Oh, the
still like,
5.7, dude. You
yeah,
could have
the
Kimbo those. I'm
5.7.
pretty sure.
So I did single. I did so that single gun on it. But on hardcore, if you could pretty much get chest above, it was still a one shot kill. And so you could
Wow.
still get, and you had a lot more bullets. So you kind of spray because the TAC 45, I think you only had like 8 or 9
Hmm.
bullets. Whereas 5.7, I think you had close to 15 or 18 bullets. And so I could be a little bit more panicky if I wanted to and
Yeah.
still get the kills. And so those were the times where I was finally getting like +1 KD was on
That's
those.
awesome.
So it's just a time and where I could finally evolve to the next level and not be like literally it would. I think most of my games I was so terrible. It'd be like 2 and 20, like just disgusting, absolutely
Getting
disgusting. I would be like, oh,
sniped
I had a good game. I got like
across the
6 kills. Yeah.
Yeah.
And or I'd be like 7 and 7. And that was like a good game for me. And so it was the first time I got positive KD, first time I got to learn the movement. The commando I think was a lot of fun. The maps were great. And so I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think
funny.
Nuketown was I don't think I think Nuketown was on before this, but it's the first time I really got to experience Nuketown. So
I know
Nuketown.
this was the first time they brought in Nuketown Zombies.
Okay. So maybe
Yeah.
I know all this is relatively, I guess Black Ops would have been the first Nuketown, um,
Yeah.
the original Black Ops, but yeah, Black Ops 2, just the kind of the end of an era, beginning of a chapter of me actually starting to be kind of good at these games. So that's number five, top five list.
You're like, I'm serviceable.
Yeah.
I'm serviceable now.
I'm
All
not
those
a
years
absolute
of
swine.
cheese in the Commando Pro.
There's even like I have a picture. It's like super old because it's all all the guys right are over, and there's probably 8 to 10 of us all on this like sectional couch, and I'm playing the game and I'm leaned forward, so I'm ready
Yeah.
and ready to pop off. Anytime you lean forward, man, that's like Ash Ketchum putting his hat on backwards, just ready.
Yep.
And so yeah, I
Yep.
was leaned forward, so clearly I was popping or trying to pop
Popping
off,
off. Yeah.
and did good. It was good, but
That's
it's
great.
old. Oh, you can't even really see us. It's pretty low quality. Great photo though.
That's that was number 5 for you, right?
Yeah, that's number 5.
Number 5 for me, I am going back to the From Software games, so like Elden Ring. I'm going Bloodborne. Okay, if
Bloodborne.
you
I don't even think
if
I've heard
you
of
should look this
Bloodborne.
up, man.
Yep,
This
I
is
got this. You're giving me 2 new ones now.
oh dude, Bloodborne is it has, in my opinion, it has the best art style of any of the From Software like Dark Souls ish games.
Okay.
Got the best artwork, man. It's got the best apparel, like the stuff that you can get, the best weapons, the best enemies, man, the best bosses. It's awesome. And it came out, if I remember right, it came out as a PlayStation free game when the PS4 came out. And
Ah,
I downloaded it not even thinking, like, I was just like, hey, it's a free game, like I'll try it out, and like instantly hooked at how hard the game was, but how redeemable, like being in all of these environments that they made, like was like it's just like it's hard to explain. Like the environments that they have in there are so like it's so gloomy, it's so depressing
dude, yeah.
to like come out of it and like go into the next area where there's like a little bit of sunlight peeking through, and like you get through like a hard boss fight or whatever, and then you're going back into a dark cave. It's like it's just so cool, man. That is my favorite Souls-ish game, and then Elden Ring is a close second for sure. But
Okay.
in terms of difficulty, I think this one is probably one of the harder ones.
Really?
Definitely.
Harder than Elden Ring?
It's up there. I think it's a discussion.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Looks cool. Yeah,
Very,
these
very
games I never really did play, but I've always appreciated the graphics. There is, I don't know what game it is, but this guy's basically like a samurai, and it
It's
has
Ghost
really
of
cool like.
Tsushima.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's either
Or
new, just came
Sekiro.
out. Let's see. What did you say? Ghost of what?
Tsushima. It's
Oh yeah.
TSU.
And that pulled right up. Yeah, I think this is it. And there
And
was
then
some gameplay.
look up Sekiro. Look up Sekiro. I think it's Shadows Die Twice. I think that's what it is. That could be
I think
what
it
you're
was
thinking of.
no, I think it was the first one.
Okay.
But I know it's like brand new. It had some really cool, like the way the fighting transitions was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the graphics a little bit darker, kind of had that feel that of the games that you've been talking about so far. I think this
Yeah.
is it. So Ghost of Tsushima, definitely said that terribly wrong. I think this is it. But that one looked cool. I actually would like to play that game for sure.
They're cool, man. They're hard. They're not for the faint of heart.
True, and I'm weak when it comes to hard games. I like to win. I could just destroy. It's not on my top 5, but Madden, I'd always do like there was this level. I think it was on the Xbox 360, and I it's like if you went up a notch, then it was like actually hard. But if you took it down one notch, you could run
Yeah.
like 80 yards for a touchdown every time. And I always did that.
Hey, that's literally how Madden still is. You put it
Yeah.
on All Pro, you're throwing for 850 yards, but then you put it on All Madden, and it's like, dude, you're probably throwing 3 pick sixes and fumbling the ball 4 times.
I'm saying. So, I'd rather just do 100 yards and call it a day. Just give me my stats, bro. I average 60-yard carries. Come at me. People barely doing 5.
Yeah. These bums in the league.
Disgusting. I did like Bad, and I think all of them do, but you can kind of, again, create your own player, get your own house, get your own stats. I always liked that. I thought that was enjoyable. I think the reason why none of those games really made my list was because it was just there. Like once you did it, you were done. These games, I guess just kind of the memories of it,
Yeah.
didn't really have the online gameplay. That's why, man, Black Ops 2, I mean, that's when I could actually play online with, I think it was actually a game I was able to get at that point. So there's just a little bit more connectivity, I guess, to that.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. This one I just couldn't remember. I think there is like a favorite, but I couldn't remember. And I just think all of these are great and these are the best ones. And there's a bunch of them out. But to me, this was a true set, great story, everything. Assassin's Creed 1 through 3.
Nice.
Such it was like the first open world game that I really ever played to technically not the first, but with stunning graphics
Right.
at a
Right.
crazy difficulty, you could branch out. You're talking about creating your own character and using your own weapons. I was a big the secret hidden blades. That's just how
Yeah.
I just fought with those things, man. Like dual
Because they were
sword was
so
like my
cool. Yeah.
second. I never played with the spears, never played with like the long distance things. I want to be up close, sneaking up. And I want to say it was either 2 or 3, but whenever you could drop like a smoke bomb and then just like knock out like 6 people and then disappear, like, dude, it was just so sick. And
Dude. Yeah.
so sick. And the story was super cool. Like going back between the future and the end and how that all played out. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Oh,
Phenomenal,
dude.
phenomenal series of games. So I put all 3 of them. That's my number 4, just because that's just it's good gaming. They even say like because they have new Assassin's Creed game out, and they always revert back like, why is 1 through 3 still better than like
Yeah.
this one like 10 years ago? Like it's so what that cliche it's so ahead of its time. And I think it's like super super true. And I just love the
Yeah.
cloaks. Oh man, super cool. So
No, I
yeah,
mean,
that's my
there's not many things that I would rather like that I could think of that would make a better game rather than being an assassin.
yeah.
You know, like
It's just
that
cool,
is
man.
yeah. It's like one of the that's just yeah, super cool. I agree. Total. I love that. That I also didn't put that on my list, so I'm glad you included that
Good.
because that was going to be one of my honorable mentions for sure.
People probably think we're like psychopaths. We're like, I just want to be an assassin. Like, that's a cool thing, guys. All right,
Yeah,
we're not obviously wanting to kill people, but
you wouldn't get it. Yeah.
you just don't understand if you don't understand. That's all it is.
um. Cool. I for number 4, I went with this is the game that I'm playing now, but came out uh gosh, I think in 2008. But it's Fallout 3 New Vegas. Um
Uh,
I have played all of the other Fallouts except for this one. This is the one I have not played, and it is like halfway or a little bit past halfway through the playthrough. It is like definitely my favorite. And for those of you who don't know, like Fallout is just a game that you're playing in a post-apocalyptic kind of world, and it's supposed to be this like empty wasteland,
yeah,
and you're meeting all these different characters and stuff. And I really love the Fallout games because it's like you can build your character to where you're more charismatic or more intelligent, or you can
nice,
build them just strictly brute force. So if you build them brute force, you're not going to be able to do anything in dialogue. Like you're not going to be able to persuade anybody or like
right?
have anybody as your companion. But when you get in combat, you're going to kill everybody because you're super strong. And then vice versa. If you go into
Nice.
combat when you don't have your strength up, but your charisma's up, So there's a lot of different ways that you can, there's a ton of replayability in this game.
Mhm.
Um, and dude, something about this specific one, Fallout 3 New Vegas, something about it, they make it like you really feel alone when you were like alone in this
Dang,
game. Like it is a big map. The game is only 6 gigs, but it is a huge map.
jeez,
Yeah, it's shocking. It's like it's impressive how they got that much onto that little of space.
yeah,
Um, but man, so empty. Like it's just like you really do feel like you're like in a wasteland. So it like really
crazy.
puts you in the game. So
Everyone always
I
recommends.
love all the Fallout's, man. They're
I
awesome.
always get recommendations to play those games. I just never have. Not that I don't want to, but again, it's like, man, no time anymore to play all these great
Yeah.
games. But that's a good one, and I have heard great things of it. So now we're on to top 3,
Yep.
and man, these really my top 3. I wouldn't say are like the most insane to play, but either kind of have that mix of they're the most awesome to play, or just the top of the memories. I think I really went more memory based off of my top list. And
Hmm.
so number 3 for me was Zelda, Nintendo 64. And I always
Nice.
never could say that, or the Ocarina of Time,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ocarina. I don't know.
Ocarina.
But
Yeah.
that one was my all-time favorite because when I went to visit my grandparents in North Carolina, they're very, very classy people. Like, uh, they lived in North Carolina, grew up in Jersey, but kind of fancier New Jersey, and I just called them my fancy grandparents. That's what I always call them. They're just super proper. They taught me how to literally eat properly, how to do like table manners, all that. Like they etiquette was like their big thing.
Hmm.
And I learned a lot from them. And now it was actually great because when I got into dating life, I would constantly get complimented. Like girlfriend at the time would be like, dude, like parents were super stoked about your table manners. It's super funny.
Yeah.
And so that's where I went. But because they were a little bit more classy, a little bit more fancy, there wasn't really like a lot of fun stuff to do. But my uncle was a big uh, gamer, still is a big, just one giant, like awesome human nerd. And he's just like super cool human. And he had a Nintendo 64 in like one of the guest bedrooms. And it was called the red room because all the rooms had a different color. This one was the red room. And so pretty much every time I go to visit, I would literally just go up and I played Nintendo 64. And if I ever had any difficulties, I go to my Uncle Tom. And I think I just call him Tom. Like I don't even think, like he's an uncle, dearly beloved uncle, but he's Tom. And anytime I got stuck, he would just give me like a little bit of a clue to help me, and then like that was it. He like really like
Yeah.
helped kind of keep the because Zelda is a problem solving game, right? So you can't just be like, oh, here you
Yeah.
go. And then times he'd check in on playing with me, and he was like, oh, I remember that one. He goes, this is gonna be fun. Like he would give me like ampness for it,
That's great.
and stuff like that, or tell me kind of like what to look for. So it was it was really long. I think it was a really really long game, or either that or I was really bad at it, maybe both.
Yeah.
But it's a
Or
lot of
both.
fun. I love the going to the future. You'd be adult Link. You go
Yeah.
back. You'd be like baby Link. Story mode was really cool. Um, just a great layout. I think the final boss, like all those levels, were super good, super intense. It all had like a different vibe to it as you
Yeah.
went throughout. Just a lot of, I
They
think there's
put a
a
lot of
lot
effort
in
into
that
it.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a game that really wasn't probably super big, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was super super cool. So that was my man. It was really hard not to put this as number one. It really was a tough call, but that I want to put it at number 3
Okay.
because I can't play it anymore. And I think that's why. So it's at number 3 because I can't play it anymore. I think if I kept being able to play it and like redo it, I'd probably put it
Yeah.
number 1. So that's why I put it 3.
These lists are tentative to change by the middle of
Yeah,
summer.
depending next year, we may have to like do like an updated version.
Yeah. Um, man, that's great. Number 3 for me. This is a huge change of pace, but we're going back to sports. We're going
Okay.
with NBA, man. NBA 2K.
I was waiting
Dude,
for this to
more
come up.
specifically, I think it's probably 2K21 because that was like
Okay.
quarantine, and that was like when I was playing the most 2K, and when I was at my best, man. But this is my like if I had to choose one game to decide my life on like playing somebody like an alien comes down and it's like, hey, beat me at a game. This is what I would choose.
Dang.
I would
So you're
choose
confident you
2K.
could beat
Oh,
extraterrestrial life.
I could beat anybody. And anybody who is listening to this who may be thinking like, like he can't beat me, I can. And
Dude.
hit me up. We'll set up a game, man. We'll
Hey,
set up
we'll
a
stream
game
it.
just so that I can show you.
We'll
I think
stream it on
my
YouTube.
dude, my online record in like 2K21 and 22, man, it was like 85 and 10. Like
Holy cow,
I
dude.
was ridiculous at that game.
That is
Um,
insane.
But all 2Ks are great, man. I mean, like I remember like going and doing the fantasy drafts on like 2K10 and like 2K8 and making sure that I had Kobe and making sure that I had, Dirk on the same team and, going out
That's
and picking all
awesome.
my favorite players and stuff. So a lot of nostalgia wrapped up in the 2Ks, but that's number 3 for me.
I figured that was definitely. I actually
It was
thought it was
coming.
going to be number two. I didn't think it was going to be number one. Because I
Dude,
know
you'll
you
be
play
shocked.
other
You're
games.
gonna know. You're gonna know what number 2 is. You're gonna be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
And then I think you're gonna be shocked at number 1.
nice. Okay, I'm excited to it. This my number two really shouldn't come in as a shocker for anyone that knows me. It's a phone game, mobile game, and it's the only mobile game that I think is
Candy Crush.
still absolutely legitimately amazing. Like I used to not really care for mobile games. I thought they were dumb. But when this
Mhm.
one came out, instant, instant addiction. And
I'm so
play,
interested. What are you gonna say?
I play all the time. COD Mobile.
Wow,
I
okay.
play this game all the time. And I don't know what really happened, but this game clicked to me almost instantly. And there's some people out there like, well, Parker, there's a bunch of bots on there. Because I am very good at this game. Like stupidly good at it. I have a 3.0 KD right now. I just checked my stats. That's what I was doing
Wow.
earlier, just because I wanted to be prepared.
And hold on. So
20%.
this is just like it's just regular COD, right?
Yes,
On mobile,
It's multiplayer, and there's
Warzone,
what's it called? Um,
Blackout.
Blackout. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's battle royales in there, and so I love the battle royales. That to me is my favorite.
Yeah.
The multiplayer is really good too, and I'll play. Like I love the gun game, especially team gun game. Team gun game is super cool, super fun. But yeah, in the multiplayer alone, my KD is 3.0. Like, and so the MVP. So when I was number one of my team, out of 1,100 games, I've placed number one 424 times.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I've placed top three 760 times. Like, I'm
Dude. And
insane.
what this is
That's
lobby of
that's
like 100, right?
no, that's the multiplayer. So the multiplayer,
Oh, okay.
that's what
Okay.
it is. In the battle royale, they don't really give you as good of stats. Like, they don't tell you what your KD is, and yeah, there's no way to really grade that. But I can tell you, I've played 689 matches, and I've won. So place number one 368 times,
More than 50%.
more
That's
than
insane.
50%. My accuracy is 32.6. And honestly, it would be higher. It's just a snipe. I do sniper, either sniper assault rifle, or if it's ending in like a closed area, I'll do sniper submachine gun.
Dude,
And
that's
I've been the
insane.
MVP 248 times.
That is insane. I didn't
Right.
know you were such a COD mobile guy.
So I'm like really, really good. And so I want to go back because again, there's gonna be some people that are like, well, you play with a lot of bots, and that's true. But I've gotten all the way up to there's ranked play. Battle
Ooh.
Royale is ranked play, and I've gotten all the way to the end. So I've gotten all the way to like legendary or whatever it is. So
Wow.
past master, past grandmaster, onto legendary, like trying to achieve like top 250 people, of which I just don't have the time to get there anymore because
Yeah.
you have to play like a lot. I mean, you
And
go
odds
from
are like there are more than 250 people in the world that play this game every single
yes.
day for like 4 hours.
Now I'm
Yeah.
not saying I'm like top 250, and there's definitely people better than me, but like I am like the bots are easy. It's very easy to tell when they're
Yeah.
bots because they hip fire and they burst fire. So you can tell
Yeah.
they're a bot really quickly. But I
Yeah.
have played against like real, like you can see it's like the way they move. You shoot at them, they slide away, they spin. A
Yeah.
lot of them are snipers, so there's a lot of good sniper wars. I had a great ending, and it even happened to me too. But it was like this last guy, and he shot at me, and because it kind of tells you where you got shot at,
Mhm.
and literally zoomed in and like, bah! And that was like the end. Like I like total like 90-degree change, put it right above his head, popped him, and that was the end of the game. Um,
Nice.
I had this. This was a great one. I think what's funny is I'm not very good at Warzone. Like I try to be, and I'm not terrible. But I watched Stone Mountain 64. Give him the credit. He doesn't need it. This man's got like 50 million followers. But super great streamer. If you ever want to watch like a really good chill streamer that's kind of like our vibe, Stone Mountain's the way, 100%. Um, and he does a lot of like, here's the strategy, here's how to do this, here's the high ground. He talks about all of this, and he talks about while he's playing, which I really like. And for some reason, it will not translate to when I play Warzone. Like I know how the idea, and I definitely am like decent at Warzone to
Yeah.
like not die instantly. But
Right.
it doesn't track as well when I play Warzone. When I play COD Mobile, I do all these tactics the same. And that's why like I'm at where I am. Like I'm not killing these people because I'm far away and they don't see me or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like I had a 3-on-1 story. This is the most epic story. Um, and you just have to hear it because it's so sick. So it ends up being a 3v1, but I didn't realize it was 3v1. I thought it was a 1v1 at first. So basically, there's this guy, and he's going towards the crates, and you can go to this crate once and get one loadout gun. So it's not like Warzone where you buy your loadout, you buy your guns. You have to go to the crate. The crates are pre-dropped throughout the time, depending on when you are in the game. So he's going for us, and I go for a snipe, missed, because he's going straight sideways, full speed, a little hard to hit. And I shoot again, I miss, and I think I shot him. I go for a third shot, and I hit him, and it breaks his plates. I'm like, cool. Well, in the corner of my eye, I see a sniper glint. I was like, oh, we're about to like 1v1v1. So now I start
Yeah.
shooting towards the sniper, but he's in the trees. I can't really, I try to go a shot or two, doesn't work. And I couldn't hit him. But now I'm distracted him, but then I see smoke pop out to my left. And I was like, oh no, they're on the same team. So now I'm getting flanked. So all you need to know, like where I am in the map, is that there's a cliff and I'm on the low side behind the cliff right now. So I hide behind the sniper, try to get this guy, can't see him in the smoke. And then the guy is like way out behind a tree. And then all of a sudden I heard a third guy. And I'm like, oh my God. And this third guy is like close. Like it's not the guy in the smoke. There's a third guy.
Like you hear his
And he
footsteps.
comes in. And so
Yeah.
I go and shoot him. He shoots me. He lays down a lot more damage than I am. So I have to like revert and turn. And as I turn, I have to plate up because I'm like dying. And as I'm plating up, I learned this for the first time when I did this. As I'm plating up and I turn, he starts shooting me, but it doesn't cancel my plate. And so I was able to get up enough of the clip where I could like kind of really turn, stop getting shot at with like 0.8 seconds left to get my plate off. So now I'm fully plated. So then I jump behind him off the cliff, shoot him down, and he's downed. And now the other guy is, so there's one guy coming from like the top of the cliff, and then there's another guy coming from the bottom. So I'm basically getting double teamed. And
Yeah,
I
sandwich.
go to go take on the bottom guy because the other guy like the top of the cliff, and I'm using the cliff as a barrier. Now keep in mind I'm still weak and I had a plate, so I have to plate again because the guy almost killed me. And I realized this guy has the perk where if you're downed, if you shoot him, if you shoot the person, you can self revive. So I have to run back because I
Oh,
see him. I was like, oh, he has a gun. So I had to go back up and kind of almost face the guy that's at the top of the cliff. And so I'm kind of just wasting time waiting for the plate to come off. And then I beeline back down because the guy at the bottom was my like real priority because the other guy was still kind of far away, but like he was definitely getting closer. So I take on that guy and same thing, jump off, kind of pop off the cliff, shoot him up, and it's a little shooting war. And then finally I get him down. And then I have to replate, go all the way back up. And so I have this perk. So unlike the down perk, I have a perk where it's basically I drop this rocket launcher thing down. It hones in on people and vehicles. And I have this vehicle up here that I've had for pretty much the entire time we've been talking about this. So I hear his footsteps and I'm not ready to finish plating. And so I drop this rocket launcher down. And so that distracts him enough for me to finish off my like last plate because I'm down to just like single plates. Like I have these plates where I can do like full 3 plate up and everything. So now I'm down to single plate. So I need one more plate to like even think about taking this guy on. So I throw the rocket launcher on and it starts automatically honing on him. So he starts freaking out and he climbs on top of my vehicle. So I get him stuck in that animation. So I start shooting him as he's climbing up. There's literally nothing he can do about it. Then he tries to jump off. And that just like, I had like this perfect tracing, because I just play with my thumbs. And I had perfect tracing all the way down and finish him off. Team wipe.
wow.
Full on team wipe. And I'm like, and that one I didn't even get touched. Like he didn't even touch me because he was locked in animation. It was crazy. Like I wish I could have recorded it. But these were all legitimate players because like you can tell by the move, like they flanked.
If
and
it's a
so,
bot,
if it's a bot, like it's fine. And the bots are easy to hit and they're easy to kill. I'm not saying like the whole lobby is full of players, but you will get a lot of lobbies with like legitimate players, and you can tell pretty
Yeah.
easily. And I can still beat them for the most part. So fight me, and I will take anyone on. And I'm sure there will be people that definitely wreck me and destroy me, but I have a lot of fun
Yeah.
playing that game. It is super
Dude,
fun.
heck yeah. That's awesome.
That was my number
Um,
two.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't even think that COD Mobile was still a thing.
No,
Uh,
it's to me it is.
you're like, it's
I
very
play
much
it.
a thing.
I play it daily. Like if I need a mental break, I'm playing Call of Duty.
Nice.
That's my number.
Um, my number two is very different. You're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Guitar Hero.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think about Guitar Hero. I should have
Dude,
known, man. I should have known.
grew up with it. Grew up playing Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Guitar Hero Van
Hmm.
Halen, Guitar Hero World Tour, Guitar Hero 3, Guitar Hero, all of them, man. Grew up playing all of them, and now I'm lucky enough to have a computer where I can play Clone Hero, which is like an
Yes.
emulator, which is even better because I have all of the Guitar Hero World Tour songs. I can have all of the Aerosmith songs if I want it. Um,
Dang.
I can basically have any song that's ever come out in Guitar Hero or Rock Band. I can have any of those on there, and I can also have custom songs that like other people make. So I've been playing a lot of Post Malone on there. They got some Post Malone songs on there. System of a Down is one of my favorite bands to play on there.
Good band.
Yeah,
Yep.
man, it's awesome. That's my COD Mobile. I think like
Nice.
if I'm stressed or something, I'll play two songs or three songs and go from there. But if you guys want to play it, Clone Hero is free. It doesn't take a lot of requirements to run. I'm pretty sure you can run it on a Mac.
That's awesome.
And all you need to do is buy this baby, maybe $65 on Amazon. Just a
Easy.
just a Wii guitar, and then you just need an adapter for
Nice.
the USB and the Wii little plug-in. But
Most games are what, $60? So you're basically
yeah,
just
so
paying,
it's like
yeah,
it's
it's the
the same thing.
same.
Yeah,
And you get
but this is
unlimited
like
songs.
this is unlimited replayability,
That's good.
unlimited.
That's
But
good.
yeah, man, love Guitar Hero. I wish I could play even like 10% of real guitar, but unfortunately, I can tell
Same.
you guys now that your skills do not translate. It stays,
Don't.
yeah, it
I
stays
always
on the
wanted
five buttons.
always wanted to be good at Guitar Hero, but I was fine until I had to bring in the pinky, right? Because I try to play like, one finger per color, and then that
Yeah,
orange one, you got to stretch out,
yeah.
and that can never do that. My pinkies like don't work like that, and
I swear I'm gonna
the
give
fact that I
myself
had
carpal
to
tunnel.
strum it at the same time, which makes sense. It didn't make sense
Yeah,
to me at the time. I was like, this is stupid. Why do I have to strum? Why can't I just hit the buttons? But that was the hardest for me. So I ended up doing Rock Band, like the drums. I had a lot of fun with the
yeah.
drums. I was
I
more
used
of
to
a
like the microphone too on Rock Band. That was
see. I
cool.
never did the microphone, but I don't like singing in front of people. So as in like karaoke, be like, oh, what do you have to do? No, you're never gonna get me to do karaoke ever. Like period. In a discussion. Okay, a little bit of technical difficulties. I don't know. I literally just went in to plug in my speaker, and I don't know if that did it or if it was terrible timing, but whatever. Lost a little bit of audio back in.
Yeah,
All
it's
is
okay.
fine. Which was actually really good build up because now we are on number one.
Mm-hmm.
So
It worked
this
out
is good.
perfectly, and I was like right done talking.
I know. So I guess if we're going to end or abruptly, or not abruptly end, but cut out abruptly, this would have been a good time to do it.
Yeah.
All right, my number one has actually been mentioned by you. So
Oh
my
man,
number one of all time was Pokemon Red.
nice, really,
Yeah.
dude.
And
Heck yeah.
because multiple reasons. One, I when I grew up, I was not on the wealthy side of things. So this was the Game Boy was like the first big
Big.
thing that I
Yeah.
got, right? Um, I was just me and my mom at the time, and I was super, super young. And we had just moved, I think, to Connecticut when all this is going about, and she buys me this Pokemon game. I did not know how to read before this game.
Wow.
I knew very, very little, right? And I
Yeah.
knew just enough to kind of play this game. So a lot of the time, in the very beginning, I'd ask my mom, "What is this word? What are they saying?" And she would tell me. I literally, legitimately learned how to read from playing
That's
Pokemon Red
awesome.
to be specifically. So that's part one to why it's number one, because it literally taught me to read. I didn't need no whatever the Hooked on Phonics or whatever those were, all those
Yeah.
educational books. It was Pokemon that got me to learn how to read. And so that's one. Two, Charizard, beast mode. Enough
Beast
said.
mode. Beast.
Absolutely beast mode. And in Pokemon Red, there was, I think it was the seventh boss, whatever the flame boss was. And he lived on like this island. And if you went like up and down on the side of this island, you could get like level 100 plus Pokemon. And so
Oh
I'd use that. I'm like,
yes.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
I used that to stack all these Pokemon. And you had to train
Dude,
them.
you can
Once you
find
train them,
legendaries there and stuff, I
mhm,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
anything. You can get anything like Snorlax. It
Yeah.
could be like literally a Squirtle for like level 150 or whatever. And
Right.
generally after the first fight, they would drop down to 99. Because a lot of times they really wouldn't even listen to you. So you had to train them a little bit before, but I'd pretty much go, I would stack up my whole, um, get like six really powerful Pokemon, train them all into an actual battle so that they would go down and actually listen to me slash evolve, get them the
Yeah.
actual moves I want them to get, and then I go take on Elite Four and just wreck them.
Yeah. Dude, heck
So
yeah.
yeah, I love
Did they
the
have
story mode.
shinies in Pokemon Red? You know what I'm talking about?
That the first time they did the shiny ones, I want to say it was Sapphire.
Okay. Because I
Sapphire
remember
is when
I
they
remember
started doing
playing
more.
that one too and doing the like you would find a Pokemon. Like
Hmm.
I used to do this. I would find a Pokemon that I've been looking for, but I'd want the shiny version, so I'd save it right before I like go into that area.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you'd go in and you'd encounter them. You'd find out they weren't shiny. You'd quit. You'd reload, and you'd do it again. And like I
That's
would do
fun.
that for hours trying to find shiny versions of like my favorites. But
Do
like
you ever do the duplicate
duplication,
glitch? Yeah, where like you transfer
um,
them into PC. Like I think it was something where you had to like transfer them from like your like I guess what you had to like the
inventory, yeah.
database. And if you turn it off at halfway point of that point, you would have one in your database and one still in your like pocket.
Oh
So you could
wow.
duplicate a bunch of things too. And that was
Oh,
kind of
that, hey,
fun.
that goes back to the like older games. They didn't know what limitations they
Didn't
had to
know you
put
had
on this
loopholes.
stuff. So
Well, and
like
what that
there's
was nice for was because you could get like a cool Pokemon. If you couldn't find it, you could duplicate it, and then you could share it. You could give the Pokemon, you could connect the cable to the
right,
other
right,
person's
right.
Game Boy, and then share
Yeah. 'Cause you
so
could
that they
trade.
could have it.
Yeah, dude.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
That's
you could do that with
awesome.
a bunch of stuff. You could do it like Master Balls. Like there was a
Yeah.
glitch where you could get like 100 Master Balls
Yep.
free. So yeah,
Oh
that's
gosh.
I think the loopholes I think in itself made that game a lot of fun. The fact that you could
Yeah.
share Pokemon with other people. That was really fun. They had this tower on top of the Elite Four that was really cool.
Yeah.
They had like a slots, like a casino, I believe in Pokemon Red, so you
I
could
think so,
play
yeah.
on the casinos, and that was a lot of fun. I just felt like they had a lot of cool, like little stuff that may have been slightly overlooked, and it taught me how to read. So I mean, it there's no way like that's why I told you I was like struggling with like my number three and my number one, just because like there's just no way that can't not be number one. If it
Yeah.
literally this game taught me how to read like that, it is that's automatically at the top.
Inadvertently. Yeah. Like it's
Yeah,
not like it was marketed to kids as like, hey, play this game to learn how to read.
exactly. Like that's just the absolute byproduct. Super
Yeah.
cool.
No, that's
So
awesome.
that's it. That's my number one.
That's awesome. I'm glad. Uh I'm glad Pokemon's getting the love that it deserves, man.
It is
I think that it gets a lot of hate and it makes me sad.
extreme.
Um
I'm
man,
ready for your number one because this is
uh,
supposed to be unknown, right?
this is yeah, I think this is like somewhat of a unique one, but this is I love story games. Like I love
Mhm.
story games. Love single player games. Growing up, like I would watch my brother play it all the time and um I chose God of War. And more
Okay.
specifically, I chose the PS4 version, like the next, I guess the next gen iteration of God of War. But you could have the entire franchise here. But
Right.
basically, this guy is the god of war, and he is wronged by a bunch of like other gods. So there's a bunch of Greek mythology in this, like
Yep.
Norse mythology. Um, so and I've always been like a huge fan of that stuff. So you see Zeus, you see Poseidon, you see Archimedes,
Thor
I
in
think.
there too at some point too, right?
Who?
Thor? Or not Thor.
Yes,
Odin.
he's in the end credit scene of this game that I'm talking about.
Okay.
And
Nice.
he's actually, I think you actually fight him and kill him, or I don't know. I don't know. I haven't played the newest one, but he's
Right.
actually in the newest one, and he's actually
Yeah.
fat. He's huge. He's fat,
Yes. Yes, I do.
but
Yeah, I just am starting to remember some. I watched some gameplay of
yeah,
it.
but it's
So
like the combat in this one is like top notch. The boss fights in it are really cool. All the bosses are like, I mean, more. It's either some Greek mythology character that actually exists. You know, you can go and look up like lore on them away from the game.
yeah.
Um, so it's either that or it's like super difficult. And then once you beat the game, you're able to go to a realm and basically do like more or less you're like trying to get a high score in an area. So it like after you beat the game, it kind of reverts back to an old like arcade style game with like replayability where it's like you're going into an area, you're trying to get the high score. And it's like there's really no repercussions for dying other than that you have to restart.
Okay.
The game's already over. But also after you beat the game, it gives you a chance to do New Game Plus and get like special achievements for it,
Oh,
and
nice.
it's like much more difficult. But man, I mean, it's great, and like acting in it, the dialogue in it is fantastic.
Mm.
It's an amazing story. It's a story about a dad and a son, like, and you see them like go through this, like you see like all their
Yeah,
paths,
they keep going back
getting
and forth.
close,
Yeah.
and then they get really far away, and yeah, so it's awesome, man. It's
Nice.
amazing. It's God of War is one of the best franchises I've ever played. I haven't played like the oldest one, but I've played God of War 3 and then God of War the PS4 one, and then
Mm.
I will eventually buy a PS5 so that I can play God of War Ragnarok. But
Oh man, just pull on a PC, get them ultra high graphics on
I don't
there.
think it's on there. I don't think they
Is it
have
that
it.
one? I could have
They
sworn.
they have the
Maybe
one I'm
it's the other
talking
one I have.
about. They have
Gotcha.
the God of War 2019. I think that's what it was.
Maybe that is the one. Yeah, because so Stone Mountain again. I watch Stone Mountain all the time, and he likes games to have developed. Get rid of the bugs, and so he'll
Yeah.
usually play them later. So that's probably what I was watching. Was that
Nice.
one? That makes
Yeah,
sense.
but I think they added that maybe like a year or 2 years ago to Steam, the one that I'm talking about, and then
Yep.
the Ragnarok is like planned to come to Steam, but just later. Like I think
Nice.
it'll probably be like next year or maybe in 2 years.
Cool. Yeah, I've heard good things, and I watched a lot of that gameplay, and it was super cool. The this father son relationship is a lot of fun, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
dude, it's awesome,
So
man.
I
It's
I respect it.
really heartfelt and yeah, like you'll beat the game and just be like, damn, I took for granted playing it this entire time. You're like, I want to immediately jump back in and play another playthrough.
See, that's what I feel like Zelda was like that for me. Like
Yeah.
it's just like saying like I want to kind of go back and play it with my adult brain now versus like my
Yeah.
8, 10-year-old, 12-year-old brain.
Yeah.
Um, that's good though. So that's our top 10. Man, we thought this was going to be a short
Short
episode,
episode,
but
man. Turned out. Yeah.
we got super pumped. But I'm not surprised because again, like we are we love our video games. We're on the nerdier side of that, and it just makes sense. So we'll see how long the other episodes are when it comes
Yeah.
to this. And so what I'd say is if you have a suggestion, what you want to be our top 10, comment. And is going all this is going on YouTube. So leave a comment. Let us know. You can email us, bigbeartheory.podcast@gmail.com. Whatever it is, do all the things. This is always for you. All of this is for you. We wanted you to kind of see our normal selves, right? So we're going kind of back and forth. What Tanner and I have kind of described as we're playing through this creation of the podcast, right? We had original vision. We've started playing with a few things. and we're still trying to figure out where to put our path. And so what we've kind of decided, as we've talked, is we want to have Big Bear Theory. The whole everything is Big Bear Theory, but the Big Bear Theory episodes be the ones that are helpful for you, help you guys with life situations, whatever it may be. And then we truly believe it's going to be easier to want to listen to those and be willing to listen to those if you know our background and who we are,
Mhm.
and kind of bring this normalcy. Because the thing that I always notice with those big books, right, the leadership books or the helping books of these people that do all these amazing things, is that they don't really feel like normal people anymore. They just feel like they're like, oh yeah, if you do these things, like you can get to where I am. And I don't really know them, and I don't feel like I could ever get to them because I have no relatability to them. I may have endured some things. And so Tanner and I want to make sure that you don't feel that way. We want to make sure that you guys realize we're human, and we are young, trying to figure out life as we progress. We have figured some things out, but we haven't figured everything out. And this is the journey. While it's a journey to kind of help you get some shortcuts and new perspective on life, it's also our journey to learn shortcuts and to think about life in a different way, always trying to figure out how to be the best that we can be, whether that's for
Mhm.
us, our families, or for you guys. And so we want you to see us for us. And so these top tens, even analyzing the CPR stories, we're going to start bringing on people to the show so that you can see them and see and hear their stories. We've really branched this out so that every there is inclusion no matter where you are, and there's really something for everyone. I think we kind of hit the same stuff for the most part, but there's a lot of inclusion for everybody, a lot of time to interact and bring this through. So
Mhm.
top 10 is going to be a playlist. CPR story is going to be a playlist. We have a couple of other playlists coming up the roads. We have guest stars coming up the road here soon. So a lot of stuff is coming. This has developed into a lot. We have hit, and I'm going to refresh just to make sure we didn't hit it fully, 97 downloads as of right now. So we are 3 away from 100. We are prematurely going to do a giveaway, but I'm not going to tell you what that giveaway is yet. All right. So I'm going to wait till I get it, and then I'm going to show you on our podcast whenever it comes out. But super excited for this gift. It's nothing huge. Okay. It's not $1,000 Yeti cooler. Okay. It's not a brand new gaming PC. None of these things,
Not a
but
Tesla.
it is, yeah, it's not a Tesla, no Ferrari. It's
Okay.
just something to give away that is us. It's on us, and I just want to give it to you because I did not think 1,000, or not 1,000. That was super sick. 100 downloads in less than a month is really really cool. So we got a giveaway coming. We'll show you how to get it going about that and kind of commence that. Um, and and just a big thank you for those things. So thank you all so much for all of this. It's really been great. Just to recap, we are on YouTube now, and so that again is going to be our big hub. So anything that you can give a thumbs up to on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. So this is stuff that we're going to ask you. I was watching a streamer, and he's a YouTube streamer, and he says thumbs up. Those are really the best comments, of course, but thumbs up is the best thing that you can really do. It's not necessarily hearting the stream or liking the stream. I think it has to be exactly a thumbs up. He made it very specific. It needs to look like a thumbs up. But if you hit that button on anything and everything that you can find, this is what's going to help us grow. If you want to see us, obviously YouTube is the way to go. It's the same content. It's the same thing. It's just us, and you actually get to see us going and about. You can see our cool intro, which is always a lot of fun. And we're going to try and post as much on there as humanly possible. And it's going to be kind of integrated with Instagram. So it's really the hub between Instagram, podcast, all in one, all inclusive thing there. Um, Follow us. We are not doing subscriptions yet, but that is the goal, is to get up to subscription level where you can get some sneak peeks, better ways to get giveaways, potentially be guest stars on the podcast and things like that. So that's where everything is going, and where we're heading up to be. A massive thank you all for everything that we've achieved. And then last but not least, I mentioned this, but I finally got the lotion for Mad Rabbit. And if you haven't seen the Instagram clip, I don't know if you saw this, but I tried to I like showed it, it's like zoomed in, and I like tried to put it in my hand, and it just like exploded
You
all
got
over
like
my
way too
hand.
much you bargained
It
for,
was
yeah.
so much. I mean, it probably could have covered like my whole body. You don't really need a lot for this stuff. And so there was a fail video. I don't know if it was a story or if it was a clip, but it was super funny. I haven't seen it, give it a like. I thought that was humorous. But then I actually did a video. I think I did my bear tattoo, obviously in amends for Big Bear Theory. That's not why I got my bear tattoo, but I thought it was in line with that. So lotion was pretty cool. I think I like the balm better, a little bit better. I just love the vibrancy, man. The balm, like making every tattoo pop, to me is just super super cool. But I
Hmm.
do like the lotion, and I usually use Lubriderm, which is like what most people I think use. And I will say I think it is better than Lubriderm. So I will give kudos to that. I don't like hate it. But like Mad Rabbit's like use words like light and non-greasy and things like that. And I feel like it just doesn't really describe it as well, but I don't know how to describe it other than those words. So yeah, it's light, it's non-greasy. But to me, the biggest thing is like I was literally petting myself after I put this on. It was really weird. But I was like rubbing my arm. I was like, oh, I'm like kind of
Yeah.
weirdly soft. So it does provide, I think what Lubricant is not is like this extra level of softness that doesn't feel fake or slick or anything like that. So I really do like it. I will probably get a big thing of it now that I got the small tube. If you want to try it, this guy is much smaller and easier to use. Just be careful. I actually literally just take off the top and I just use this guy
Yeah.
because the other one, I just don't think it, as I drop it, I just don't think it's quite made perfectly for that. Um, but you don't need a lot. I think like a quarter to do my quarter size to do my whole arm, and then like dime size to do my leg, and that's it. So we are working on other things, trying to get some other connections going on. I'm currently working on coffee, trying to get something coffee related for everyone, and I'm working on something that is really far stretched. But if we can get it, I think will be a huge hit for you guys, and that's to be determined. And things that are going to help. So as we start looking into other programs to give you guys discounts. The biggest thing that's hitting us right now is we need more followers, we need more likes, we need more engagement. So, like and heart anything and everything that you see. This will dramatically help us get these things because we want to get discounts for stuff that you guys like and want. So, this is the biggest asset we can have you do it on YouTube, do it on Instagram, follow us on Spotify, whatever you're listening to this on. Follow it, subscribe to it if you can, like it, rate it 5 stars if you can. Any and all of this. This is what's going to help us get you all the cheaper discounts and stuff. But we will be relentless on this until we get at least, to me, I think my goal will be good, solid 5 products, 5 things of different varieties, every single type of listener out there to get something that Tanner and I truly believe in and want. We want to use it and we want y'all to use it because how much we love it. That's why I love Mad Rabbit. And I just love using it because it's something that I love using. So that is pretty much all I got. And then last but not least is Barefoot World. So in the life of Barefoot, our next LGI course starts this Saturday. Actually, this will post on the 19th, so we'll be halfway through our course. We record these a little bit in advance. But we have 2 more courses after that. They start in March. So if you haven't seen the application, apply. And then our real life applications are coming out very, very soon. So if you have any interest in working for us or current employees / returning employees, if you're looking for manager positions, LGI positions, any type of positions, feel free to reach out to Tanner and myself up in TFW or Kevin and Odera down in Houston. and they'll be more than happy to help you out because those are right around the corner. Super excited to start the season with you guys. And because of applications coming out, that is more interactions with you guys and get to enjoy that stuff. So we will get to see you all very soon. If you want to be on this podcast, share it, like it, do all the things, and we'll probably get you on here at some point. So thank you all for everything that you do. Love you all very much. And I think we're going to close out right here. So love y'all.
Cool.
Hearts, power your way.
Love you guys.
See you guys.